You cannot separate career from your work, from your life. You can't. If you want to be a successful person, actually, you have to be a successful person in all these areas. Yeah. Well, my name is Leslie, and I'm a Singaporean by birth, and I'm an Australian citizen. I met my wife in Australia. We got married. We've got two boys who now have followed us and lived and worked in China for the last 18 years. So a very significant part of my career was here in China. Yeah, I work in pharmaceuticals. I was a chemical engineer when I graduated, and I started in oil and gas. And I find myself coming back after work every day, all covered with black suit. And one day I saw an advertisement about changing lives, about saving lives, and that was in the healthcare industry. So I took a role as a chemical engineer in Singapore, and lo and behold, 25 years later, I'm in China in the same company. So that's quite rare these days to have someone stay so long in a company. But I've done so many different roles that I feel as if I've been changing jobs. You know, I started as an engineer. I looked after supply chains, ran factories for the company in China. I look after our relations with government, and I look after communications and market access for our medicines. And then finally, I ran a business for the company in China for about a couple of years before coming to a more strategic role, looking after corporate affairs for markets outside the US and Europe. So it's a very big area in what we call international. So that's me in a nutshell. Throughout life, as a career professional and as a father of a small family, two boys, as I mentioned, it's always going to be a challenge at some point in time, right? Because people go through seasons. You have young children grow up. And my wife, being the trailing spouse, it wasn't easy for her to live 18 years away from home. And you come to a point where you're getting increasing responsibilities at work. And at some point in time, you come to a crossroads. And I think what has made me, and also that significant crisis in our company where they put a lot of stress and strain on myself personally, but on the family as well. And that became what I call a perfect storm because it then questions, why am I here? It questions what are my goals and my dreams for my family, myself, and my work. Some would call it a midlife crisis, but I call it a season in my life that was a start of my awakening, at least about my identity. Who is Leslie? What is he here for? What is he trying to do? What is his purpose for his family, his life, and his career? Because I found out that you have to be consistent about who you are in your work and family. You can't separate these two things. And I think once you try and separate those two lives, you become very hypocritical and inconsistent, which then causes you to fracture as a human. So I think the people I admire most are people who are successful, both in the workplace and in their families, because you don't have to sacrifice your family for your career. Well, there's a saying that says where your treasure is where your heart will be as well. And I think for me, it's what you treasure in life. I don't think that having a successful career, as I mentioned, will be incompatible with having a successful business life or career. But it's in moments where you have to think about what your priorities are. Because I don't believe there's such thing as a work-life balance. Some people talk about, oh, you have a work-life balance. At some point in time, you just got to make sure when it comes to important things for your family, you don't sacrifice those things. It's like a famous tennis player once said, right? Actually, he was just saying he looks back in his career in competition in tennis, and there were many shots that he missed. Many shots, and the percentage was extremely high. But he says, when the shots that matter for me to win, I won those points. And I think it comes to life in the same, where it matters that you stand for your family, you stand for your children, because actually children are like a business investment. If you invest in them, you actually get the satisfaction when you grow old that they have the right values, they love their parents, and at least you don't grow old lonely as well. So I think those are the things I would say with kind of stress at work as you get more senior or you get promoted is you never get the balance. And the more you try and seek that balance, I think that sometimes you will make mistakes. But it's when it matters for your family, you are there for them. So like, for example, coming to my son's graduation dinner or an event that matters to him, he may say, don't come and see, right? Parents are there, don't like it. But I think deep down inside, when they see you watching them and their sport or their activities, I think deep down inside it says, thank goodness my parents are here tonight. Because there are a lot of kids that find that their parents are absent. And that has a profound impact beyond today, right? And it really impacts them into their lives tomorrow. And then it's quite an unusual way to respond to a question about life, but I would say pain. And I think pain has been my greatest teacher.